Always on stuff, that one hit a quitter. Need a bad bitch, yeah, real go-getter. Too drunk, not lit, bitch, pass me a gassing. Pedal to the metal, doing heavy drugs like I'm doing heavy metal. What you expected, we some kids from the ghetto. Shooting like Bill, put some pills in the jello. Taking shot after shot. Get me? Empty out the hole down 50. Watch me hit them like 50 if the hole trying to get me. Empty out the hole down 50. Watch me hit them like 50 if the hole trying to get me. Empty out the hole down 50. Watch me hit them like 50. Blowing on that bomb, yeah, that Hiroshima. Napalm in my palm, yeah, that's that Nina. Burners on deck, yeah, we keep a heater. Hoes on deck in the 4-seater. On the grind and I'm looking for a fortune. On the block, but it's hot, it's scorching. Hit the pops from the Glocks, they torching. 2 cops got shot, they aborting. Shoot the whole 50, make them forfeit. If your pocket's iffy, bitch, you can't afford this. AR-15, she look gorgeous. Spot all.
It's niggas that I love, it's niggas I don't trust, yeah. Niggas start to acting up when they think your cash is up, yeah. I got weed in the cup, little nigga roll it up, yeah. Got my middle fingers up, niggas cannot fuck with us, nah. I remember Ace picked us up, yeah. Ride with the pistol in the tuck, yeah. Blue rag hanging out the rear view. Pull up on your bitch, what that shit do? Couple young niggas with this shit, boy. Bet not be acting like no bitch, boy. Try presses, we don't even flinch, boy. Yeah, that money stacking up by the inch, boy.
Keep it consistent, do y'all thing, and keep it always 100.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the nighttime, Imperial Highway. Getting this car out this motherfucking spot before they give me a ticket with their trickery. Nigga, no parking. Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Starting at 12 a.m. now, see. So at midnight, they could have got my ass. Fuck them. Smashing this car. Whoop. I'm gonna put this in the cut. I did see an extra spot. For this car. Yeah, man, so tonight, we're going to be taking y'all back to 92, man. Watch Riots. I was there. I was young. I was like 10. 10 years old. God damn, that shit loud. Shit. These new cars, man, they make you want to buckle the seatbelt. That shit right there, dog. Y'all bear with me. I'm just parking and shit. I ain't about to do all that. Damn. I'm going to have to find a way to disconnect that shit now. I like driving without my seatbelt. Yeah, brother, get you. Fuck, brother. Can't stand to see that. Get your stuff together, brother. Go, motherfucker. Yes. Didn't nobody take it yet. I thought for sure somebody was going to jack this spot. This shit sound like a robot. This car. The fuck? This shit got electronic brakes and shit. Got
That's tight. That shit like, ew, 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 ew. But yeah, man, we taking it back to 92. So let me get over to my laptop. Speak on it just for a little bit. What's up, T? You was on when it, then you was on right there when it. Well, we're gonna talk about it, man. Make sure you join the panel. This is a panel talk. It's not just gonna be me. It's panel talk. So I'm gonna need somebody like you that been there like me to comment on this shit. Feel me? Over there in the middle of the street. Yeah, whoop-de though. Yeah, man. Everybody know how it started off when that shit first cracked off. And you can see me about what's up, about 10 years old, maybe. I think I was around Watts area, 10 years. I was going to school out there. You know what I'm saying? And right there off Central, I was going to school right there off Central on 83rd. That shit was cracking off. Ain't never in my life seen Army, the fucking Army, mobbing down. There we go. Welcome my nigga T, man. T. Nigga Terrence. Shitty Mo status. Never would I thought I see the fucking Army rolling down the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Like, niggas ain't never seen no military nothing. Like, live. Hell no. Nigga didn't go to no military camp. Nigga didn't like ROTC, none of that shit. So, to see that shit, nigga, then that shit was heartbreaking too, because all the memories that you had, you know what I'm saying, the stores you used to go to as a kid. You go to that store every day with your mom and shit, getting your ass whooped, hitting your mama ankles with that basket and shit. You know what I'm saying? Stealing from that store, your first little theft, your first little theft. And then you see that store burning up. Like burning up. Like, nigga, it ain't gonna be no more of that. Ain't no more ice cream from Clark's. Ain't no more Newberries. Ain't no more t-shirt spot. I seen all them stores burn up, man. And that shit was crazy, man. It was a war zone. I mean,
Especially at that age too, nigga. That was some crazy shit.
right. We was a ripe age. We was a right age, right. Just starting out, wet behind the ears.
Like I was scared to the motherfucker, nigga. I had went to it was Boys Market right there on Vermont 120th and shit. I was getting my little bro some diapers and shit. And when I got to the line, nigga, like everybody started running out, nigga, with all that shit, baskets, everything, nigga. So I'm little, nigga. I ran out with my shit too, nigga. You feel me?
Right.
As soon as a nigga hit the parking lot, nigga, it's a bus load of what the motherfuckers called the National Guards, my nigga. Nigga
Yep.
down there shitting on myself. My niggas hopping out that motherfucker with guns. Nigga, we running across the parking lot with shit. Nigga, that's crazy, motherfucker.
Real, dead homie.
Nigga
That shit,
didn't know what to do, nigga. That shit was crazy.
it's different when you a kid, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that shit hit totally.
You run it with a group of grown ass motherfuckers.
Right. Then the fucking Army right there. Army, nigga, like the fucking the Army, nigga, like it ain't nothing past that. Ain't nothing bigger than that. Like, damn, nigga, that's the fuck we gonna do? Like, nigga. Man,
Yeah,
that
like
shit
you said
crazy.
too, like it was a line of little markets and shit on the other side of the street. Nigga used to go play the arcades and different little shit, like go get water and shit, nigga. All that shit, nigga, burnt fuck up, nigga, on fire like a motherfucker.
Right, gone.
That shit like complete chaos, nigga.
Yeah, man. It's like all the memories, man. That was just like you see it just going up in flames, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
I used to think about that shit, nigga. I wish I was older, nigga, like at least like 19 or something, nigga. Nigga would have had TVs, all kind of shit, man. It was niggas riding down the street with all kind of shit, bro.
I was mad, nigga. My mom wasn't having it. She was not having it. I used to be pissed off too. Oh goddamn, I'm 10 years old. We poor and shit. I'm over here with a big ass attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the first time we could be able to get this shit that we never got, and you over there, you worrying about being. Nigga, I am not these niggas. You worrying about being right, man. All these niggas over here wrong. We worrying about doing right.
Yeah, because once a nigga got in the house, the nigga was in the house for like, you know what I'm saying, a whole week type shit. You feel me? Nigga wasn't going outside or nothing. Nigga just watching that shit on the news. Like, damn, look at this nigga running with a motherfucking basket, nigga, with a stove on that motherfucker.
Right.
This nigga got a couch, nigga got 10 beds. That shit was crazy.
You know? Niggas couldn't go to the store because the stores was closed. They all was burnt up. We had to find one that wasn't burnt. And everybody and their mama was trying to go to that store. Hold up.
I know I had made a song about that shit, man. I don't even remember what that shit was, but you know, nigga had made a song about that shit. Nigga running out of Boys Market in the 92 rides. But that shit was cracking like a motherfucker though.
No,
that shit was heavy as all over. That was a Rodney King verdict, huh?
It was a Rodney King that helped it, but then it was the LaTanya Hardin story, the girl who got killed by the Chinese lady. I'm about to play some of that. I'm about to play some of that too. Like, we're gonna talk about a little right now. Then, what's up, Sandy? We're gonna talk about a little bit, then we're gonna show a little bit. Talk about a little bit, show a little bit. Salute to West Coast Customs, man. You know what I'm saying? We're here doing it. So yeah, man. So T, what was your so how old was you? About 10, right? Same age, about 10?
Yeah, 10 or 9 or 10.
Right. And so you had friends that was looting, right, too?
Yep, all the older niggas on the block and shit.
Yeah, all the older niggas. Wasn't you pissed off like, dog, man, like you know what I'm saying? Like,
my mom made me stay in the house. That's what I was saying. When nigga did come back outside, nigga, like all the homies had all kind of shit, my nigga.
right.
I was like, God damn.
Those are the kids whose parents was stealing their damn self.
It felt like a nigga missed out. You feel me?
Right. No, for real. No, I was really hot. Even when I was 10 years old, nigga, I was mad because I was always like this. I was always a sensible kid. Like I knew we was poor, you know what I'm saying? So I'll tell you, not poor, but you know what I'm saying? I knew we couldn't get a lot of the shit other kids was getting. So I was, I would be the brother, the kid, like, that's all right, man. You ain't got to get, my other little brother, he younger. He don't care. He wanted his way. He didn't understand money. I understood that niggas was broke. Niggas couldn't do it. So I was like, I'm the sensible one. And I let it, I don't trip about having all this. I don't be crying about having the Jordans and the Nikes and all, and then when opportunity come to get it for free, I can't. Oh man, I'm pissed off.
Yeah, because by that time, it was the same shit to me. Like nigga was already stealing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas did that shit. You feel me? So it was like, damn, nigga, this is a proper opportunity, nigga, to do what a nigga like to do.
Already. And everybody doing it. So it's like a PPP loan. You know what I'm saying? We always had waves of come ups where some niggas don't do it because we might get in trouble, and some niggas do it and get away. And the other niggas who didn't do it be pissed off they didn't do it. So it was like the riots, the PP loans, the EDD. You know what I'm saying? Niggas always like, damn, I ain't gonna do that shit. Niggas about to go to jail for that. Niggas, nobody really going to jail like that. Some people are, but some people ain't. And you're like, damn, man, what the fuck?
So yeah,
That was that.
the Asian lady got found now not guilty, and that shit like sparked it up. But then when that nigga Rodney King, the police didn't get found guilty, nigga, that shit went up.
It cracked it off. I remember when I was in elementary school too with all the verdicts. Remember even the OJ trial, they stopped school and let us watch the case in the classrooms. Got the TVs out, and it was just TV all week, like the OJ Simpson case, the Rodney King case. You know what I'm saying? So I wondered, did white kids at their school do the same thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? I wonder if it even mattered to them.
That was some crazy shit. How they had us watching that shit at school.
Yeah, like, was it for it to make us angry as kids? Because they didn't do
Niggas
nothing but piss us off.
Niggas in elementary though. Like, why would y'all
Yeah,
have us watching shit at elementary school?
right. We barely understood anything. We barely understood any life in
Yeah.
itself. And y'all over here making us watch this shit. We got mixed feelings. You know what I'm saying? It kind of helped me grow up a little bit, though. You know what I'm saying? So I was always on the edge, but I was always smart too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm always like, damn, I wasn't no dumb motherfucker.
I remember we had an Asian dude too at our school. That nigga name was Anthony. Nigga, that nigga did not come to school.
I bet he didn't. I bet he didn't. Niggas gonna take it out on somebody.
Everything.
Man, that was crazy when all the Asians though was getting attacked. The liquor store people.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, we wasn't. We was
Black
already. We
shit.
already had small tension with the liquor store people just because
How they
you
talk
know
to
around the store. You know, we're their customers. We're the reason why you making money right now. Ain't no white people coming to this liquor store to help your business. It ain't no Chinese people coming from where you stay at to this liquor store to help your business. No, it's these niggas over here, us. That's what we were saying, nigga. We are the consumers and all that stuff like that. Because look at it. People that don't look like us or like us, scared of us almost, will go open a risk their store to go open up a store in our neighborhood. Don't you think
Mm.
they will open a store in a nice neighborhood and stuff like that? Nah, they want to open up right there.
Yeah, but a nigga start understanding that shit when a nigga got old. That, you know what I mean? Like I said, we got like a $9 trillion spending habit as a community. You feel me?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was a reason why they opened that shit right up in the ghettos and shit like that. You
yep,
know what I mean? Because we was spending our money recklessly.
yep. As soon as we get enough, we spend more than what we spend what we get. Like we don't we can live a certain way every day. We can live off making $800 a month every day. As soon as we get $10,000 lump sum or something like that, we go spending money like we making $1,000 a day. Nah, I always kept it. That's why I kept it the little alibi job, nigga, 4 hours a day and shit. You know what I'm saying? Running that shit, doing that shit. And what happened was it made me manage money. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was doing my little side hustle, but I paid a whole truck off with a part-time job, 4 hours a day, like $800 a month. Nigga, I paid a car note that was $300 a month. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you gotta move how you move, man. But about to show a little video. Yo, bad, salute. What's up, El Bad? Y'all chopping it up? Yeah, with the Watch Riots, man. So if you want to put some input, go ahead. I'm about to show this video real quick too. Little shit.
Now the Watch Wires was a little bit earlier, if I'm mistaken.
It was the 1967. That was the first Watch Riots.
Yeah.
And then the LA riots. Damn. It's a little something, man. Archives. Man, when it first cracked off, when they beat up Reginald Denny on Florence and Normandy, that's where it cracked off at.
Yeah, that nigga football.
Do not get out the car. Don't get out your car. Remember that shit on Living Color?
Yeah.
That's the A-Trays and shit over there, you know what I'm saying? Florence and Normandy, they cracked it off.
Oh, no.
They was dragging niggas out their trucks, beating niggas' ass, nigga.
Yeah. Niggas wasn't even worried about stealing shit at that time, nigga. They were just whooping niggas' ass.
Okay,
whooping Reginald Denny ass, I think that's him.
Keith?
These niggas just showing off, throwing their heads up to the helicopter like, yeah.
What that shit do, cuz? Like, nigga.
Yeah, Keith and Kelly, this is Cliff. Can you, yeah, we're trying the best we can. We also have some other information. The PD helicopter just left here. The pilot's reporting a situation. We'll cover this, and he departed northbound. I think he's going to try to land someplace, but I don't know whether he was hit with something.
What these guys in jail for?
Damn, remember they used to have the box Caprice police cars? That's crazy.
Right. Hey, I remember this shit. Hey, I remember these niggas.
Football.
Order towards the exit. All right, back on the record, I'll put it to questions for 4 minutes. Thank you, Dr. I have a few to 4 seconds to second frame. As we see, people around us are very worried about prior surgeries. Could you explain what you mean by the hydro between blood thinning agents and complications?
If the blood thinning agents worked too well and the blood thinned out too much, he might suffer a dangerous hemorrhage back in the area where he had the brain operated on. And the epidural hematoma could have revived or returned. Likewise, in the face, there could have been bleeding into the area of face where the facial surgery was performed.
I think these are guys that was
readmission
that beat up Reginald Denny, right? The main one?
20th.
Yeah. In the middle football from A-Tray Gangster.
Apparatus on the upper and lower jaw and removal of the pin, which was based as a temporary measure while the bones of the face were healing. However, approximately 5 days to 6 days before that, again, the family called at this time.
Rodney King. Unnecessary stomping, man. That shit is ridiculous.
I always wonder who that was filming that shit.
Some Mexican dude.
Back then, it wasn't no cell phone. Nigga had a big ass camcorder out there.
Right. It was something about he was by his somewhere. He told the story. They told the story. Somebody said it was all put on, did on purpose and shit. But no, they didn't know they was being filmed. This shit always happens and they just got caught.
There's like a motherfucking spotlight on that motherfucking shit though.
Yep. That's the cop car lights. Remember we were talking about that shit last time?
Yeah.
That's the cop car light right there.
That's a gang of police. It was like all them motherfuckers got a lick.
Right. You got a lady. I think this is about Latanya Harding right here. Yeah, that's that lady. Looking all sad.
51-year-old Sun Ja-du appeared battered, bruised, and in a daze as she was arraigned for the shooting of 15-year-old Natasha Harlins. Her family and lawyer insist she thought she was being robbed and assaulted when she shot the teenager.
She had got an orange, right? And she shot the lady orange juice and put it in her backpack. And then she paid for orange juice, and the lady didn't give her the right amount of change back. So my sister grabbed her and hit her in the eye.
When she opened the other left eye, the black object coming toward her as she was approaching her. Then she was so sure that she was dying.
She was dying.
Without thinking anything to grab something. She felt that time there's something kind of gone object, something like that.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You hear that excuse? You didn't get a lady her the girl her change back. I ain't about to keep arguing with your flat ass face. Give him up for his change. And then she got
5 years probation. Members of the Harlins family were outraged. The woman fired one fatal shot that hit Latasha Harlins in the back of the head.
Look at this shit. Wow, look.
Sun Ja-du was convicted of voluntary tape by a store security camera.
She hit her.
She got involved in an argument and altercation about a bottle of orange juice she wanted to buy. Korean grocer Sun Ja-du pulled a gun as the teenager was leaving. The woman fired one fatal shot that hit Latasha Harlins in the back of the head. Sun Ja-du was convicted of voluntary manslaughter. Judge Joyce Carlin could have sentenced her to 16 years in prison, but instead sentenced her to 5 years probation. Members of the Harlins family were outraged.
I think it was an injustice. Justice has not been served. This lady has killed my 15-year-old granddaughter, and she got away with 5 years probation. This is an injustice. No, justice has not been served.
Yeah, it was that punch that got that verdict, though.
Yeah, that's so what? Assault charge it does not equal death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my case if I was a lawyer. Assault charge is not the death penalty.
Yeah, and I'm no kid anyway. You could tell she was a teenager.
You know what I'm saying?
Sun Ja-du pulled a gun as the teenager was leaving. The woman fired one fatal shot that hit Latasha Harlins in the back of the head. Sun Ja-du was convicted of voluntary manslaughter. Judge Joyce Carlin could have sentenced her to 16 years in prison, but instead sentenced her to 5 years probation. Members of the Harlins family were outraged.
And she was walking too, though.
Justice has not been served. This lady has killed my 15-year-old granddaughter, and she got away with 5 years probation. This is injustice.
Cracking up.
Come on, man, that swap meet and shit.
Yeah, that was on a swap meet. That was in the jewelry store. There it is, right there. Gun store manager. That's the shit right here. I was watching. I'm gonna play that. That shit right there. It was funny. Them niggas was not going. They was not going. They wasn't having. Look at that shit, man.
Niggas had AKs and ARs and shit on the top of the roof.
Right. How you gonna try to rob a gun store? That's the wrong store. Or jury store too. Come on, nigga. Niggas had their Asian cousins up there patrolling. Fuck these, putting trust in these cops. The cops didn't know what to do. Boom. These cops trying to be firemen. Look at this. The whole city is burning down, nigga. You worrying about it? Hey, man. The whole city burning down. This fool. You better get a truckload of them down little ass fire extinguishers, nigga. Look, niggas ain't playing. Look. You got policemen acting like firemen. They're regular citizens. Look. They ain't playing. Look. Cracking off.
Remember niggas putting black owned on their businesses so motherfuckers wouldn't touch it.
Right. Look at the essays. Like niggas don't care. Hey, they don't know what's going on. They don't care nothing. They just know free, man. No justice, no. See, you see how the essays and the blacks stood up for each other, man. It always was like that. The separation, I don't know what, but
we always still the same community.
Right, I'm still like that because we live in the same community, right? It wasn't. It was a couple times you'll see the little, but back in the day, it wasn't nothing like that. Man, they loved us, man. It was always good. It was always good, man. That's why I got so many essay homies now, because I still live by that. I judge people by their character. Salute to the essays.
But this show you right here how deep the community was. If we all came together, the motherfuckers can't stop us.
From earlier, you still didn't watch that from earlier. Get in the shower. No, get your butt in the shower. Hurry up.
The police ain't even doing nothing, telling her to get up out of here. You ain't trying to slap nothing out their hand or nothing.
Right. Just get out of here.
No, it's like everything else. It looks like a some sort of supermarket or drugs or liquor store type scenario there.
Whoa. Damn.
Did you get that?
Who was in that motherfucker? Dead.
We are.
Whatever was in that motherfucker just blew the hell up.
Look at the aftermath that next day when they show like the whole city like just smoking everywhere.
Man, that shit look like a war just happened.
Oh, is it? JJ Newberry?
But why it lasted so long too, because we didn't go outside of our community and destroy nothing. We were just destroying shit in our own shit.
Right. That shit would have been shut down. Nigga tried to hit Melrose and some shit. Me, I would have been like, yeah, it's cracking on Melrose. I would have lied. Told everybody it's cracking on Melrose. And everybody would have went. Cracked it off anyway. See, people want to say, well, why? Hold up. So the answer to the big old question that a lot of smart motherfuckers usually want to answer, smart mouth motherfuckers usually want to answer, usually somebody that's racist. Not all the time. Sometimes it's somebody asks a real sensible question, but they don't think about it. Why did you guys burn up your own community? Why did you guys didn't go over, like we just finished saying, why didn't you go over to the Wi-Fi? Okay, this is why. When you angry, it cracks off right then and there. A lot of these dudes, people don't even have cars. They got people on the bus. A lot of them do have cars, but then, so if you start rounding up people, start traveling over there, best believe me, you're gonna be getting caught one by one before you even get there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so the people who don't got cars and don't got nothing, really, those are the people who really starting off. People who ain't got shit. Think about it. You got stuff going on. You ain't really about to be burning up now. You probably work at that damn place. Unless you want to burn down so you don't have to go to work. And then you think about it, wait, I don't got to go to work. Then I don't got a job. You know, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's why we couldn't go over there. We couldn't. It was too much to do. It was too much to get over there.
Yeah, and though even though it was our own community, it was predominantly the business owned by other people.
Right. They always oppressed us, and we helped them out. You know what I'm saying? They gave us attitude, didn't trust us. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I made friends with a lot of the liquor store people. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I had to. Shit. I was getting blunts and shit at 15 and cigarettes and shit, and I was buying liquor at 18 from them. So, you know what I'm saying? I was cool with a lot of them.
Found this on the floor. Is this yours?
Yeah, right.
I'll just see him because I don't want to take nobody's money.
All right.
And it was still the same. Once the communities begin to get rebuilt, it was still like foreign people that own the new shit.
Right. You turn this down, we can still watch it. Yeah. People that owned it. You know, you might have a dude at the liquor city. Later on, you have a black dude working at the liquor store. You start having that shit later on. Essays. Stay here at B&H. Bali on them. Electronic supplies. They like to play on Avalon, spot on Avalon, huh?
Kind of, a lot of that shit is not even there no more.
Fox Wholesale. Damn, I remember that shit. Yeah, look at that shit. Niggas all out of Fox. It's like a Radio Shack, Circuit City type shit. Nigga, TVs and all that. This shit funny as hell when you watch it right now a little bit, though. And look at that modern looking duplex right there. Apartment. And you'll see stuff that used to be somewhere, like, oh, that's why it's an empty lot right there. Oh damn, that's some of that shit ain't never been built. Nothing else. It's just an empty dirt grass lot. A lot of places, man. Cause you remember that all them shits, LA and kind of that shit was bunched all up together. All kind of buildings built up on shit. So when you see little spaces everywhere and shit like that, that shit was burnt, nigga. Nigga, imagine, nigga, you getting paid $35 an hour, $40 an hour at a place and shit, and you see it on the right, that shit burning down, nigga.
Not back then, niggas. Like, nigga, I remember when I first started working, minimum wage was like $6. So, nigga, that was like 2002.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
So, maybe 90 something. Niggas are getting paid $3 an hour type shit.
No, I'm joking. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, niggas celebrating. Like you said, niggas celebrating until they recognize, like, oh, shit, nigga, I ain't got no job no more.
Right. Ain't this a bitch? That's like apartment building right there. Connected to the store. You're gonna burn somebody's house down. They being stupid.
What's wrong, son? I was trying to wake you up. Come here, you good? Come here. Come here, Dad. You know, it's all love. I'll be all the time, mommy. I was trying to wake you up earlier so you could sleep through the night. What happened? You had a bad dream or something?
Trying to see if they're gonna say the name of the street. Trying to find something that look real familiar. What the fuck is that tower right there, man? Yeah, that shit. Oh, okay. Oh, that shit. Oh my. Damn, that's the bank right there. Oh shit, that is like Central. That ain't none of that shit right there no more, nigga. I think that's a. Wait, if that's right there, nigga. There ain't none of that shit. Nigga, it's the Jack in the Box right there now. Park should be across the street. Yeah, there's the park right there. Across the street, you see a little bit of distance.
No, where that's at?
That's over there, almost by on Central, like. And
like what? Like Manchester and Florence, between Manchester and Florence type shit, or what?
Yeah, a little bit further down. Yeah, like 70 something, Central type. Let's look at. Wait a second, hold up. Damn, man, that's crazy, nigga. Because you can kind of see where you can kind of tell where that is, but then you look at it like, man, none of that.
I got a baby mama that stay on 77th or 76th in Central.
Shoot for Western and Washington. We have the other helicopter joining in. We'll stay at 700.
Western and Washington.
Benji Buttons.
Man, look at this fool right here.
At that time, I was in the gun store. Then I have received a phone call from my employer. His name is Richard Park. He also owned a jewelry store right down the block there. And he said, David, we're having a gunfighting here. So can you just come over and help us? We already called police. And when I arrived here, At the beginning, I can see the LAPD, vehicle with like 3-4 officers were there. So, we have a police here, we are safe. But as soon as the gun fighting started, they ran away. Bye.
They ran away. You hear that?
So,
The police ran away.
Cop shit.
Then what I saw from across the street is a lot of looters were armed, heavily armed, and they're shooting at us. My experience was that, whoever attacked and, looting the Korea town was not the African Americans. It was more like the Hispanic cholos or gangbangers. Really was coming to my face here and there, so I thought I'm going to get shot. So naturally, I just trying to protect my face, my hands like this momentarily. Then, wait a minute, what am I doing? So I just put it down.
They was trying to get that bag.
Whoever actually I saw having guns, I didn't hesitate to shoot them.
Joint.
Otherwise, I could have got shot. Some of them are popping up from there.
Shit. You take me there.
I was scared. Even though you're scared, you don't have much options. You have to fight.
David Drew with no.
Korean people are very frustrated. Korea town was damaged and destroyed.
This is a brutalization of truth. That's the tragedy of America.
We thought that videotape was going to make it.
One store that apparently is being looted at this time. This may be the flashpoint of the unrest. 30 young people throwing rocks. You can hear them impacting against them.
The roof on fire, let it burn up. The city on fire, let it burn up. Look at David Jew. Look at Jew. David Jew, look, Jew. Jew was a joint. Jew was going. Jew was out there.
For a minute because of that shit.
5 years ago, 5 days, Los Angeles was a war zone. Maybe not the rich white neighborhoods like the ones that UCLA sandwiched between, but Koreatown, South Central, they were gripped by chaos or rebellion, depending on who you ask. About $500 million of property damage was inflicted upon Korean American-owned stores. Now, Koreans were undoubtedly targeted by rioters, but the media narrative that was sold to people was that this was blacks and Koreans. But that narrative was entirely separate from reality. The real story was about structural racism, economic divestment, and a media that sensationalized cultural misunderstandings between communities.
Yo, Bad, what up?
The real story in this
Miller,
case starts in 1965.
Angie, what it do?
It was a hot, humid, uncomfortable period in mid-August 1965 when the pursuit and arrest of a young Negro traffic violator triggered tensions and feelings built up over several years into a full-fledged civil disturbance, culminating in the mobilization and deployment of more than 13,000 National Guardsmen.
The events in 1965 were eerily similar to 1992. You had a man who was pulled over by CHP for suspected drunk driving. He's apprehended, then brutally beaten by police officers. Also, like in 92, you have violence that emerges from anger that's simmering just under the surface of civil society. Legal apartheid had only been ended 2 years prior in 1963, and the city was still essentially de facto segregated. African Americans were still relegated to a small part of the city and were prevented by both bigotry and the law from being included in the post-war economic boom that was going on across the country. As for the LAPD, well,
as long as he is black and a member of the Negro community, the white public thinks that the white policeman is justified in going in there and trampling on that man's civil rights and on that man's human rights.
That same year, Korean immigrants flooded en masse to Los Angeles. In 1965, immigration restrictions had been lifted, and Korean immigrants came to Los Angeles fleeing a country that had been torn apart by a disastrous civil war 10 years prior. but they entered a United States that was suspicious and even hostile towards Asians. And they came into a city, Los Angeles, that was still divided by race and ethnicity.
And the kind of businesses they bought were marginal in nature, liquor stores and corner markets. But by the 80s, Korean immigrants were actually doing very well, and their kids were off to college, many of them right here at UCLA.
But in the same token, African Americans in the 80s were not doing quite so well.
No.
In the 70s, you had the departure of the automotive industry. That divestment coincided with the entrance of crack into Los Angeles. And in that context, poverty and violence and gang warfare rose to prominence, and police brutality was the only thing that really continued unabated. So you had this anger boiling up in black community of South Los Angeles. And really the only people in their immediate view were Korean American merchants. These merchants were perceived to be sort of rude and racist, not really caring about their black customers, right?
It's important to understand that these misconceptions about Korean merchants arose from sort of cultural misunderstanding. For example, in Korean culture, it's actually rude to use somebody's first name. You don't even call your wife or your husband by their first name. If I come into a Korean merchant store and they don't call me by my name, even though I come in there every day and spend money, I'm going to perceive them as not caring about me as a human being. And another small cultural misunderstanding that can happen is, for example, if I go to a Korean merchant and ask for change, she'll just throw it down on the table. But that's because in Korean culture, it's actually rude to touch skin to skin. But if I'm not privy to that culture, I don't understand that throwing change down on the table in front of me is not rude. It's just actually avoiding an awkward exchange. There was also the perception that these Korean merchants were somehow cheap.
Drink, 85 cents. You pay or go.
I don't understand what 5 is. It's Vietnam. It's 5. He's in China.
Not Chinese. Korea.
But you have to remember that these are local marginal businesses. They can't buy in bulk like Ralph's, so that their prices have to be marked up a little bit to make any sort of profit. Obviously, there was racist sentiment dispersed amongst both communities, but until the media entered the picture, there was no real sense of animosity. As we've established, South Central at this time was starting to become a really violent place to run a business. So Korean store owners started to arm themselves. Now when you have a upsurge in gun ownership and a prevalence of fear, tragedies happen. A tragedy did strike when 15-year-old black girl Latasha Harlins was shot by Korean store owner Soon Ja-do in 1991. The way it was covered by the mainstream media was that rude Korean store owner shot a young, defenseless black girl over a bottle of orange juice.
This inflammatory media coverage really strained the relationship between the black and Korean communities in Los Angeles more than anything.
And afterwards, there was a number of boycotts, robberies, and even firebombings of Korean stores.
There was really no time for this fracture between the two communities to heal because not much later, in 1992, Rodney King was beaten by 4 white officers.
We the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Lawrence M. Powell, not guilty of the crime of assault by force likely to produce great bodily injury and with a deadly weapon.
My heart was pounding in anticipation, but I'm very happy.
LA was in the throes of a recession. Unemployment was high. People were angry and they wanted something to point their anger at. For the African American community, Rodney King became the linchpin of the unresolved anger that had been lingering since the Watts uprising. For many, if the justice system did not punish these individuals, well, burn, baby, burn.
Trouble breaking out here right now. Tensions are building.
Yeah. Burn, baby, burn.
Just wrestled a couple of people.
Here they go.
Around.
Was there anger at those
Well,
owners
tipped
before
over a
all
whole
this?
school
Or
bus.
did they get hit because they're Korean and that's all?
Yeah, probably because they're Korean, and you know that lady shot the little girl out there too.
Impromptu protests, violent property damage, looting. It was all happening in Los Angeles. It was chaos, and the police were seemingly callous to what was going on in the poor parts of the city. Korean Americans had no support from police, and they felt like they had to take it upon themselves to defend their property.
But people are driving by shooting at us, and we have to do something about it. We have no police support whatsoever. Please just don't sit there and enjoy this great exhibition.
It's not entertainment, It's not a Hollywood action shot.
Former veterans, gang members, they came together and they defended the community. The LAPD and later the National Guard practiced a policy of containment, right? They cordoned off all the rich white neighborhoods, Beverly Hills, Hancock Park, and let all the violence play out in Koreatown and South Central. Only after the violence had started to cool down did the National Guard and the LAPD start to move into Koreatown and South Central. And at that point, a massive tragedy had already befallen the poor parts of Los Angeles. After knowing this context, it's hard to place any credence in the media narrative that emerged during the tensions. It was really about two groups that were forced to compete over a tiny piece of the economic pie and the cultural misunderstandings that led to tragedy. After the violence cooled down, there was a massive peace march in Koreatown. Tons of Korean Americans showed up to march for justice, including a lot of Korean Americans from UCLA. The feeling at the march was that of despair, but the idea was not to demonize Black people. It was to demand justice from a system that had not taken into account the interests of minorities and that often left them on the sidelines. Many UCLA students turned up to the march, but 300 Korean American students also turned up right here to Westwood Plaza. Their message was much the same. No longer will we stand idly by while our interests aren't taken into account. It's hard to say whether or not things have gotten any better. Koreatown is a tourist trap that is rapidly gentrifying, and South LA still remains underserved. Only time will really tell if the events of 1965 and 1992 will continue to repeat themselves. In that way, the story is still being written by all of us.
All of us, as in shit, nigga. They was there too, man. We all write this story, man. You know what I'm saying? He said he watched hopelessly as his story.
One of the worst places to be during the height of the rioting here in Los Angeles was inside a commercial building, any building, but particularly inside a liquor store. And that's exactly where we are, in a liquor store. And Charles Jones is in.
That's exactly where we are, in a liquor store.
Stay until the rioting is completely over.
Remember, we're not gonna be here later, so make sure you got what you need.
Charles Jones opened his Compton area liquor store located deep inside the riot zone, knowing full well the danger. It was inescapable.
It's been a long day. And it could get longer.
Jones says his business was spared because he has respect and a good relationship with the very people in the area who were rioting.
I was happy to see my place stand.
But all around Jones's store, other businesses, large and small, weren't so lucky. We watched a stunned shop owner standing by helplessly, visibly shaken and unable to protect his clothing store.
What can we do? We thought the black business would survive it. Like I said, what can we do?
I mean, how does it make you feel to be here seeing this happen?
Oh! It makes you mad naturally because you work hard to build something up. You know, your own people destroy it. So, excuse me, what do you think they're after? What is it that they're after? At this point, I don't think anyone knows what they're after. I think that they're just caught up in the moment. Well, I understand the frustration. I'm sure like everybody else, but you know, this hurts. This really hurts.
They vandalized. They took everything. They really trashed the store. That was about 4 o'clock this morning. I came down. All the merchandise was taken. Bars were broken. Windows were broken. So they took things out, everything out.
How do you feel about that?
Right now, no.
Put the fire out! Put the fire out! Put the fire out!
Business after business after business was helpless to stop the onslaught.
Man, let me find somebody mama in here right now stealing some shit.
That shut them down.
Hold up, man. Somebody looked the hella familiar right there, man. Hold up. Hold up, Mom. Moms, is that you? No. Hold
It was
up.
fire.
Yeah, man.
That shut them down.
This person getting paused on. See this. I should go to all the loots.
Fire after fire after fire
What
kept breaking
McDonald's
out
is that?
all over the city, primarily in businesses, and businesses which probably will not be able to reestablish themselves once
This
the
nigga
riot
is,
is
these
over.
news people must be, that nigga next to a blazing fire, like 20 feet away.
Show and front page, we feel the community needs this. A local radio station owned by Stevie Wonder fielded a full day of calls as people tried vainly to make sense of what was going on.
KJLH.
Come on, what are we
Right
doing
there in
to our
Queen Street,
community?
Inglewood.
Outside, now brazen looters attacked commerce at will.
These
Bad
niggas.
teller machines included.
We're not taking out of What do you got? What do you take? Is your store? Behind you there, a dozen people looting the shop. What's going on?
Well, those are all the owners over there. They're repairing all that stuff. Skyrock back here? Yeah, they're all owners there. Yeah, we're already over there.
But in a sea of chaos, smoke,
You see how he looked at
Charles Jones's store
Hello.
is an island. Well, there's tension and violence here too, outside and there, but in a
Look how he look at the camera. Guilty. Guilty. Look at the guilt. Look at the guilt.
But in a sea of chaos, chaos, smoke and looting, Charles Jones's store is an island. Well, there's tension and violence here too. Outside, in fact, the man was shot to death in his car.
Was that related to the riot, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Because it was a Korean man driving down the street. And they shot him.
But inside, Charles and his son Michael try to do business, if not as usual, as close as they can get.
See, because you burn me down.
What are the options?
6 other families that people that work for. You burn down Harriet's beauty shop. She's got some operators in there. They are. See, and the residual effect.
Shit. It was talking about probably on Amazon earlier too.
We're standing in Midtown Los Angeles now, several miles from South Central LA, the core of this whole problem and where things started. And as you can see behind me, the building is engulfed in flames. There are no firefighters around anywhere. It's a situation that's on almost every block. The firefighters can't even begin to answer all the needs.
The fire department received more than 3,000 emergency calls by early this morning, but with hundreds of blazes, firefighters were a bit overwhelmed.
Number one, it's ridiculous what's going on. Number two, it's tough for
Same thing about Carson too, or C2.
They're spread so thin.
Captain Kephart has been on the job since the riots began. He says there were very few victories as arsonists blackened the city.
Well, a lot of guys here are going to see more fires today and tonight than they've seen in 10 years. We've fought 4 fires already in 4.5, 5 hours. So it's crazy.
But that's not all that's crazy. Firefighters, usually seen as the Red Cross of Flames, have become the target of violence, even though they obviously had nothing to do with the Rodney King verdict. Still, they've been besieged by rocks and bottles and, in some cases, gunshots.
It's the first time in 14.5 years that I've never felt like we've always been the good guys. People always want. It's the first time in my career that I've ever felt like a lot of these people aren't happy to see us here, and that's unfortunate.
As many as 1,000 fires ravaged areas of Los Angeles, and dark plumes of smoke striped the sky a whiskey brown.
Marvin didn't leave his
Travelers
number I got
flying
on him
into the
not
city
working.
could see smoke as far as 70
Marvin.
miles away. Battalion Chief Duncan Baird shook his head in disbelief as he surveyed some of the damage.
Yeah, I know.
Targets included furniture stores and corner delis, markets, and video shops. The fires quickly spread to homes.
I'm guessing there's probably 30 or 40 apartments in there, and those people are going to be out of a home.
And as one of the structures collapsed, Baird seemed resigned to the partial futility of it all.
This building's probably going to burn to the ground if and when it does, or we're able to put the fire out.
Yeah, the way we see it.
Be reassigned to another fire.
Many of those fighting the flames are longtime veterans of the department, men like Battalion Chief John Camrett, who fought fires during the Watts riot in 1965.
Well, I was here during the original Watts riot, and I think more structures are burned, it's more widespread, there's more looting, and there's more hostility.
And how is Camrett dealing with the overwhelming situation?
Well, it's just part of the job. It's just something you have to do, and you try to isolate yourself. What's going on right now isn't right.
36 teams of firefighters from cities around California were en route to help the county's 1,700 firefighters. But that news didn't seem to bolster the exhausted troops.
It's a Holocaust. It's all you can say. Hopefully it won't last long.
You said GMG? Right. What? There's no instructions in there? Pop their tire.
On the day they were going to kill him, Jun Seo did not arrive at his liquor store until 5 p.m. Another checkup with his doctor had eaten most of the day, and unfortunately was part of his new routine after a botched robbery left him with a bullet hole in his liver.
Why is it always something different?
The little store meant the world to Jun Seo. It was the result of 15 years of hard work. That's probably why he wasn't going to let someone walk right in and empty his register.
Get it though.
Especially not some fucking beaner, as he often said when referring to Mexicans. To him, they were good for nothing, wasting taxpayer dollars and stealing jobs from the real people who needed them. In the days after the incident, Jun Seo confessed to having no remorse for killing the young man.
Especially for a fucking beaner.
Having fired first. If he had, his liver would be intact, and his store would have opened on time, just as it always had.
Yeah, he's coming in the morning.
It turns out that the Mexican killed by Jun Seo had a little brother, Eladio. Apparently, the kid couldn't bear the idea that the man who killed his brother was still alive, and he wasn't going to let it stay that way. His brother probably would have done the same for him.
All right.
In Eladio's mind, all Koreans were the same. Greedy motherfuckers who treated everyone like they were thieves. All while nickel and diming the entire community over stale bread.
Right.
All he wanted was some justice. And his old man, Smith & Wesson, was going to help him get it.
Elsewhere,
Eladio may have gone unnoticed, but not in that hood, and not by JD and his friends. JD was particularly sick of the Mexicans as they had been gaining more and more territory. He viewed them as cockroaches, worthless pests that knew little more than how to breed and infest. Despite his feelings, JD was above all a businessman. He needed to get that kid out of there before he got himself shot. The dead kid would bring cops, and cops were bad for business. Just a few blocks away, Mike Egan, an off-duty police officer, stopped off at Junseo's store. It wasn't his neighborhood or his beat. In fact, cops like him didn't go around there, and everyone knew it. But Mike was on his way home when he remembered he promised his daughter a candy bar.
Hey, Terrence. Hey, T. Hey, T.
Yeah.
Remember this? Time to be funny, man. Time to be funny with the riots, and Living Cutter had us dying during the riot.
Hey, how you doing? It's me, Benita Patrol.
No, I remember this shit.
Playing bingo, got caught up here in these here riots. People acting like heathens, taking everything they glued to the ground. Of course, Miss Benita always had us up. Didn't have to wait for
Nigga Bendy said he was backstage.
Oh shit, hold on. Use my other phone.
Of course, you wouldn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth.
I think he hopped off though.
I'm gonna open my other phone so I can see stuff like that. I can't see it.
Because I know you never stole a single thing in your whole life. That's a born thief there. When his mama gave birth to him, he ran off with the placenta.
You didn't hear that from me.
Peace, no justice, no peace. Hey, Denise! Look at you, girl, regular little politician. And I hear you, baby. No justice, no peace. More like no $20 bill, no peace. That girl spent more time down under than Crocodile Dundee.
You didn't hear that from me.
You ain't heard that from me. I'm so glad they didn't touch your restaurant. That's a fine restaurant, fine restaurant.
What up, Camila?
Cat won't go by unless it's on a scooter. You ain't heard that from me. Hey, look at that. They got that Jody Biscuit film from that news show. Hey, Jody, how you doing? I'm so proud of you. You're the smartest little thing on TV. Dumbest little thing is more like it. Take her 3 days to watch 48 hours. And that ain't the half of it. The girl got to move herself to count to 2. But I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me.
How we doing there, ma'am?
Hey, officer, how you doing?
Oh, doing fine. Look, we're looking for this lady who's been doing a lot of looting in this area. Her name is a Miss Jenkins.
No, don't you say nothing about Miss Jenkins. She's a fine woman, wouldn't take nothing from nobody. That's a fine woman, honey. Don't you talk about Miss Jenkins. I'll turn into iced tea on your ass. Don't talk about Miss Jenkins. She's a fine woman. Just don't turn your back on her. Woman's fingers are stickier than a booger in a jar, honey. I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me. Let me get on out of here.
Hi, I'm Rodney King.
And I'm Reginald Denny. And we're here to give you young people a friendly word of advice. Always think before you act.
Right? See, it's not whether you win or lose, but is it over when the fat lady sings? Can't we all just get along?
Staying in school and staying off drugs is fine, but it ain't gonna do you any good at all if you don't have sense enough to stay in your car.
Right? See, we were stupid. We got out of our car We didn't use our heads. Now look what happened. We may have won the battle, but the early bird got the worm. Can't we all just get along?
And your friends are going to try to tempt you. They're going to say, hey, come on, get out of your car. What can it hurt? Take it from us.
It hurts. Right? See, it's like Confucius said, he who hesitates can lead a horse to water, but he can't get that bird out of his bush. Can't we all just get along?
So take it from us, Reginald Denny.
And Rodney King.
Stay in your car. You want to drive?
No, man.
Let's talk about it in the car.
We could take the bus.
No, there's people on the bus.
No boy, what up?
Shit, chilling. Just chilling, my nigga. What you was playing? You gonna play some more shit? Yo, Ace.
No car. Red like a miracle.
Camila Sunday.
Ace Boom Coon, what's cracking? What you got going, boy? Is it my shit tripping or what's going on? No, it's my shit. Let me see.
No, I can hear you, bro. I don't know what he's doing.
Very sorry.
What's up, Charles?
That nigga dope boy ran off. What happened?
I don't know. He'll probably be right back.
Damn it. What's hell? Piece of dog video.
What y'all doing?
So we was chopping up about being in LA during the LA riots and shit, being young little kids watching that shit take place.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we was up here watching that show on TV. Sandy, number 44. Coming to the ice. I'm gonna hang with y'all for a minute. All my kids asleep. No, they ain't sleep. They faking sleep. Where the fuck is my lighter? What did y'all do with my lighter? It's bullshit. News. What it is. What it do. Oh, you. Benji in the building. What everybody doing tonight? It's Saturday.
Shit, I'm just chilling, man. My motherfucking. I fell asleep on my son, so I didn't really know what time he went to sleep. But shit, apparently he went to sleep when I did because his ass just woke up.
So y'all hanging out.
Something like that. Check his ass to sleep.
Melatonin. No.
Boy, this nigga think that shit away.
Right. Wisdom eat melatonin like Tic Tac. She think that shit's fun. You know, our parents used to give us some real shit that these kids got it easy. My mom used to drag us with NyQuil.
Yep, that too. But shit, we should get them ass whooping. Niggas be in that room for sure. Quiet and dark. Trying not to laugh too loud amongst ourselves and shit, cause boy,
Hell yeah. Because you don't want them to come in there and try to sneak and watch Apollo in the middle of the night. Shut up. Especially when all the cousins used to get together. Like, we used to all go to my grandma's house. Man, once we all get together, we always getting our ass whooped. We was doing some bad shit. Together, though.
Yeah, that was fun times and shit.
Yeah, we had all your cousins. They used to never let me go because I was a scary one. I'm not climbing over no fences or no mountains or no bullshit. I'm not running from no dogs.
That's a nigga you should show out and get them ass whoopings, boy. These cousins come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You getting fucked up when your cousins come over because you try to be a family. My mama let me do shit you don't get to do. You lying. Go in the kitchen and get some Kool-Aid then. Okay. What the fuck are you doing in my refrigerator, huh? You got your ass one.
Real shit. Straight ass with trying to be cool. Uh-oh.
Oh, smoking that shit. I gotta stop it.
Be like that sometimes.
You know, you got to cough up a lung one time. I only got a few more butts. You know, I got to quit smoking my grandbaby kill.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be hating coffee, man. I be wanting to drink, but I be taking baby coffee.
Yeah. I used to hate coughing around my mama because she always used to give you Robitussin and NyQuil. Like, I just choked on some water. I'm not sick. No, take some cough medicine. Take your ass to bed. You always want somebody to sleep.
Yeah, I wish we could go back to some of them youthful days, man.
Mm-hmm. I am smoking that same shit from last night. Sandy a fool. Yeah. I am Sandy. I'm smoking that same shit from last night, and I'm waiting for the same ride from last night. Oh, I gotta switch wallets. Damn. I don't want to. But I don't want to carry that purse. Fuck. There's one thing men don't have to worry about. Like, y'all don't have to switch wallets and purses and shit.
Dumb anyway. I had the same purse all year to the motherfucking strap all over.
You can't do that, Terrence. Your purse has to match your outfit. Do have a top 3 though. And now you know they make the purses with the matching wallet, so you gotta buy the wallet and the keychain, and it'd be too much going on in the purse store.
That shit sound like it's hitting something. Like I said,
This shit is killing my lung. She said, I do use that same purse on here, type Terrence. Yeah, like my grandma had one purse that she used to carry. And I remember she got pissed off. We bought her a purse for Christmas. She was like, I don't want that shit. I'm like, damn, grandma, you evil. Why everybody so quiet? Where everybody at?
acting like they at a party or something. Fine.
They in the bed. They stayed up all night last night with you.
No, you was saying first. Oh, you were type 2. I'm just saying. I would think about this shit and just get like the black purse, match everything. What my daughter called it, like a little clutch or some shit like that. Is that what it's called? A clutch?
Mm-hmm.
Had that motherfucker.
Oh, that Vicks used to kill you, huh, Cindy? Oh my God, I used to hate Vicks. My mama used to put Vicks on our feet and make us put socks on. That shit used to be so gross.
Man, put that shit on nigga chest, all in the nigga nose, a big fat I was like, what the fuck?
I don't want this on me. It's burning. It's burning. It's like wisdom. I'll be like, get the Vicks. She'll take off running. She'll be like, nah, she won't bother me for the rest of the night. I don't want the Vicks. Feel like every time I get on the panel, some bullshit happens. Girl, don't mind Cinderella. Yeah, asshole by nature. I shouldn't drink no more either. But it's not like, oh shit. 10 minutes. No. What earrings I'm gonna wear? Where's my mouse? I really think you need earrings. But
All damn night. Needed to lay down for a minute.
okay. I cooked. I went to work, and now I'm finna go see a man about a dog.
Uh,
Ain't that what she said this morning?
mhm.
Small earrings.
That's caramel little saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I should wear big earrings. I don't know. She said, "What? Drink more."
Talking about
I drank enough, Sandy. I like my car keys because my teenagers are gonna be home by themselves. Take them with me.
it's only gonna last about 7 minutes anyway.
Ah, 7 minutes.
I don't know. I'm just talking shit.
Yes, you talking shit, fucking with me.
You gotta get the warm
I ain't
up.
gonna lie. I gotta get 45 minutes to an hour.
Throw a nigga back out. Go to sleep. Bye.
Shit. I'm learning that I'm shit. I ain't as young as I used to be, nigga. Hold, wait a minute. Let a bitch breathe. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I need something to tie my hair up with. I just got these red tracks, nigga. Thought I had a black hair tie. Oh, I got a green one. This is the word. That's another reason why y'all want to have daughters and you're a girl. Your daughters go through all your shit and touching your shit. When you go to look for it, you can't find it. They got it. You gotta take precautions with the hair, Sonny. The safest thing is a ponytail. You put in a ponytail, you still work with it. When you leave it down, it get all frizzy, especially with weave hair, because it's weave, so you can't really be pulling on it and shaking it and shit.
Why Sandy want to know about some damn weed?
I know. I was just telling her because she don't know about weave. She don't have to. She don't have those problems. I know he.
Cut for you.
Huh?
No, I'm saying they'll be coming out the cut for Sandy. They wasn't jumping.
Yeah.
They wasn't really jumping me. They just some old ladies stuck in their old ways. I get it though.
Not old. Quit calling him old. Like I'm only a little bit younger than him.
Shit, me too.
And I don't feel old at all.
I'm a little bit younger than them too. So shit.
I'm living my best life, like my dad wife said. She said, "I'm living my third life." So okay, me too. Me too.
Earth shark. What the hell is an earth shark?
It like makes holes. It wants to be a friend with you.
Earth gotta be on the
What's an earth chart?
She'll guess you one.
It's from a planet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's holes. It just goes down holes. It just goes up and down.
Oh,
You sure?
okay.
Yeah.
Who told you about the earth shark?
The earth shark?
Yeah.
It just wants to be a friend with you.
It just wants to be a friend with you?
Yeah, it just doesn't have a friend.
It doesn't have a friend?
No.
The earth doesn't have a friend?
It just needs a friend.
The earth shark just needs a friend.
Okay.
That's another blueberry thing you see on TV, son.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be the friend?
Not me.
The earth shark.
You done walked away. Forgot about that shit. Must be some new shit you just saw.
Right. He's saying earth shark?
That's what I think he's saying.
Okay.
Like in the planet, it's in this planet.
Earth shark is in this planet. Earth shark supposed to be in the water, son.
No, Earth shark. The Earth planet shark. It's supposed to be in the ground, Dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why it's an earth shark, huh?
Duh, Terrence, you don't know. Fun said, I thought he said birth chart. I was like, yeah, he on another level, huh?
Real. Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck? I have to go to college, little nigga.
Mix the whole out.
Terrence gonna say, I got one. Yes. I always knew it would be you.
Nah, I think my 10-year-old, I'd rather speak fucking Spanish. Love reading video games. But
okay.
She mad at daddy right now.
She'll get over it. You gotta make it up to her. Buy her some candy and tell her you're sorry.
I don't know how to.
Yeah, but then it's like you gotta see the shit. They not really mad at me. They just scared their mama. It's like, damn, I gotta do this because my fucking mama said it.
Oh.
But I used to do that shit too when I was little. I remember my mom saying, if you see your dad, you better not go to his car, run. Then it'd be like, damn, look at my dad. Fuck, I gotta run because my mama told me.
Oh, that's I don't know why women do that to their kids. That's terrible. What's up, Ace? The coolest gangster out there.
Yeah, I was trying to wonder why y'all wouldn't hear me. I said, I know y'all just not ignoring me on my own channel. I'm about to put some Let me check this shit before I start checking shit now.
Uh-oh.
Nah. Hey, look at these big ass bean bags these motherfuckers rolling down the street. Nigga, that shit looked funny as hell when they first started rocking.
You gotta share it, Ace. We can't see it.
Y'all can't see it?
No.
Why? Who stopped sharing it? How long was the shit stopped sharing?
I don't know. It been stopped sharing. You been showing us videos?
Yeah, man. This shit, no, it said it's supposed to be on.
Oh no.
Oh shit. That's why. There you go. When the last time what's the last video y'all seen?
We ain't seen none. The last one we seen was the Reginald Jenny one.
I think the Mexican of the Chinese people who was like,
look at that Mustang.
There's a couch. Here's a man.
couch over his shoulder,
Nigga walking down the street with a couch.
walking up to a
Right.
car.
How you explain that?
Buddies, apparently trying to figure out how they're going to get that couch and shaking hands with each other. Going to his car. Probably trying to figure out how they're going to load that couch into the car. Get to the right, pickup truck. Old pickup truck right in front of this new concept furniture light accessory store. His friend loading up the back. I can see one light fixture in the back there. He's loading up to the front and taking off. People just pouring out the front window. Here's a guy with a plant store in the plant. Or plant in the store, excuse me. Right out the front window, taking off. A large plant. People, again, just helping themselves. Here's a recliner chair. Look at this. Next to the yellow car.
Oh, with RTD.
Gotta go.
With his wife or girlfriend, stops in front of the store,
You going, Camilla?
picks out a recliner chair, comes out and puts it on tap of the car and drives off.
Man, that's somebody's mama hanging out the window holding the couch.
Right now. Somebody mama like a motherfucker, man. Who mama is that?
Motherfucker throwing their heads up. Hey, that shit was crazy time. Nigga like, yeah, nigga, yeah.
That chair is still sitting in that old ass house right now.
Cut all up and everything.
Tape all on it.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, man? How you doing? Think about all this nonsense. Oh, this, I never seen this before, man. It's terrible.
How'd you get caught in this? What were you doing
Yeah,
there?
they get your ass out the way.
Crazy. I'm from Brazil, Gente, coisa que tá preta, galera. Tá preta mesmo aí. Coisa não tá mole.
You was out there trying to step to. Shut up.
Seeing what he could put on his scooter.
Right.
Right behind us, as we're talking to this gentleman, an accident of some kind. Somebody rear-ended. Running to old car. The guy who was rear-ended, though, just took off.
You see the back of that nigga?
Stolen car. Yeah, the guy has the whole rear end of his car bashed in and he takes off.
He didn't care. Hey, that's that van right there. Look. Remember that African dude?
Yeah, cold, damn.
So you're thinking about perhaps calling in help from outside agencies?
Well, we have a mutual aid agreement with the sheriff who borders us, the city of West Hollywood, to the east. And so we do have procedures already in order in case we do need assistance.
And you are also, I'm sure, coordinating.
I made a mistake.
Lieutenant, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, sure you're coordinating with the fire department?
We're in touch with all the
you know you ate it or not.
establishing contingency plans in the event that we do experience some of the type of incidents that are occurring outside of our borders.
All right,
Beverly
Lieutenant,
Hills.
thanks for being with us. That was Lieutenant Frank Salcido of the Beverly Hills Police Department saying that some arrests have been made on the border of Beverly Hills, not in his city, but reports of looting and arrests just outside Beverly Hills.
And there you can see looters running through the streets of Hollywood. This is Western and Melrose.
See, they got, niggas got far.
At least one.
Melrose, that is almost right there.
Well, in that area, David Jackson.
That's probably why it stopped, huh?
Yes, I wanted to correct our location here. It's Western and Santa Monica, not Vermont and Santa Monica.
Not Santa Monica, yeah.
Problems at Vermont and Santa Monica, but we are right now over Western and Santa Monica, and you can see the police have just arrived at this intersection and are just now
Right down the street from the little studio I used to have.
scene. Fire department fighting one fire. There's a neighboring fire that is
Western Santa Monica.
controlled.
Yeah, that's it there right now. Not even buildings and none of that.
Section has now stopped the looting that we had seen right at that intersection, but it stretches for such a long portion of Santa Monica Boulevard. It seems to me that they will simply move down the street to a location a little bit distant of that
I
intersection.
was like on Santa Monica and Vine, like right by Paramount Studios, right across the street.
It's just getting
Oh, shit, I know what you're talking about.
And of course, dusk is approaching. That curfew will be in effect very, very, very soon. anarchy in the streets and some confusion or concern over the skies of Los Angeles as well. We understand that there have been delays at LAX for up to 4.5 hours. If you plan on making a flight, certainly go to the airport and find out if that flight indeed is going to be coming in. We understand flights are taking off and coming in over the ocean as opposed to the city of Los Angeles for good reason. Of course, they are concerned about smoke. They are concerned about sniper fire, possibly. The planes being shot at. So
niggas ain't gonna be shooting at no airplane.
Plans and routes have been made available, but
Never seen the gang of ushers on the gang of shit.
long
They
delay,
still
up to 4.5 hours.
4 runways still open, Pat, but experiencing major delays right now.
Where the curfew is in effect, that is in fact the city.
It was a lot of smoke though.
Los Angeles. The citywide curfew. There's also a citywide curfew in Compton. That's to dawn and
old ass tape.
Everywhere where the Los Angeles Police Department has jurisdiction, there is that curfew tonight, and it is designed to eliminate loitering and cruising and much, much worse.
Thank you so much for bringing us up to date on the latest from the aerial vantage point. We will check in with you later. We do want to let you know about several school closings for tomorrow.
They need it, and they will be able to defend themselves if they need to. This is the first, as far as we know, the first deployment. About 100 National Guards people. Most of these are military policemen and women. Deployed,
that's in real life, or that's on the film?
Sent her there, sent up to the
This
Lakewood
motherfucker
Sheriff
hungry.
Station on North Clark in Lakewood. These are MPs.
Here's the bar.
And they will be sent out from the Lakewood Sheriff Station to supplement the Sheriff's Department, the PD, whoever needs them, to set up security perimeters around buildings, around other facilities, to allow other law enforcement officers, the police, the sheriff's deputies, or small police departments, to take on the job of arresting looters, so on. Guards people will be handling security and so on. And they will be armed. They will have ammunition with them on every job, says the governor, who also says he is coming to Los Angeles so he can get an aerial view of what is going on.
That shit right there. I saw shit like that driving down Central. I'm at school.
Operators started taking calls on a special medical hotline that has been set up for those residents who need.
2 blocks from the station. We're at Santa Monica and Western.
I remember that black nigga.
Fire units are on the scene. A lot of
I'm like, man, come on, nigga. Like, being our age in LA, we ain't see no army shit unless we were watching MASH.
Yeah, not a gang of them anyway.
You know, driving down the street in Humvees. Yeah, that was a whole nother joke. I mean, that was a whole nother thing. Wasn't no joke. That shit crazy. Trying to see where I'm looking familiar.
After being shot in the thigh while he was working with the county fire department strike team. So that firefighter is in stable condition tonight.
Shot a fire department. That was one of the fires around the 98th and Vermont area earlier in the day, and we'd had that report of a Santa Ana firefighter here under mutual aid contracts who was wounded. That would make the second firefighter to be wounded since the troubles began yesterday. An LA City firefighter was shot in the neck with a shotgun last night. He is in stable condition. Extraordinarily lucky because that shotgun blast damaged his carotid artery, we're told. Live pictures of Hollywood, fires here as well.
I think the Doughboy was in the back.
Tell us exactly the correlation between what took place in Simi Valley yesterday and this kind of lawlessness that has been running rampant in certain parts of Los Angeles throughout today.
We should also point out that many of the good folks of South Central Los Angeles have said that they're very upset about all this.
He said, "Oh shit, it's
One of the
milk."
big concerns, of course, has been that those areas have
Nigga,
been
Pioneer
blighted for many
chicken.
years. People who live in South Central LA have said that there is no work. There is no place for the children to play. And now we see what is left of that community, much of it going up in smoke in the last 24 hours. A very sad situation.
Well, we never fully recovered from the Watts riots. Let's remember that. Linda
Vermont, 3rd in Vermont. We are getting very close to Hollywood. We are standing right now in front of a car that has the body of a man in it. He is partially clothed. He was shot to death. They put him in this car and brought him here. They're waiting for the coroner to arrive. I've been
That ain't the same car that had that
Bruce,
recliner
can you
chair,
take
is
that
it?
camera over here? Show all the cars. The police cars now coming. We're at a National Guard staging area, and area, and they're waiting to move out. Now, what they need to be doing, and I guess they're going to move soon, is down this street here, down 3rd. Bruce, we can take it. Down there, you can see all the smoke. Right there, there is major looting going on there. We just took some pictures of it. We'll be feeding that back to you shortly.
His wallet, the police were in hot pursuit. The car took off at high speeds, ended up losing control, blowing right through a cinder block wall. All 3 occupants were killed, and they have included that in some reports, the 3 deaths there, and others they have omitted it. But right now, the official death toll in Los Angeles has risen to 14. Laura pointed out at one point in the 24-hour period, according to Fire Chief Donald Manning, there were 300 plus fires. That has been brought down to approximately
number of
30
Sears
right
out there.
now, but every now and then a new one pops up.
We're saying as many as 450 people have been injured in the last 24 hours. And certainly a lot of that taking place in the scuffling that's taking place out there as people try to rush in and loot and grab whatever they can, breaking windows, whatever it takes, and actually absolutely no regard for life or for personal property.
No.
Like George Bush.
And we must keep on working to create a climate of understanding and tolerance and condemn a climate of bigotry and
breaking windows, taking whatever they could. And they said the difficulty with their job today was that they were frequently outnumbered by looters. On this particular occasion, they were not, and so they took a suspect in tow. But the problem has been that they have not had enough backup, and the sergeant there, the LAPD sergeant at the scene, said to me, "We need help. We need the National Guard to help us to secure the area," which of course did happen today. As many as 40,000 National Guards supposed to be in.
Engine on this side of the street. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, that must be the officers telling people to move out of the area. You were referring to Beverly Hills, and we talked to a lieutenant there, and they are on full alert in that city, but so far things reportedly have been rather calm. Joe, we're going to switch gears, if you will. If you stand by just for a second, go to Frank Buckley.
Watch there.
Square Mall. We're at the intersection of La Cienega and Packard, I believe. Yes, La Cienega and Packard. You can see down the street where this fire began, apparently by looters. Firefighters here. What we had here was a reverse form of the old bucket brigade. People were lining up and helping other people evacuate their furniture and all their belongings from this apartment complex. You can see a sofa being taken out now. There are the sofa cushions. Everybody in this neighborhood pitching in to try to help one another. Hoses strung all around the roof of this building. Just people coming together and trying to help one another. Well, they've got hoses here. Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Yes, I was just going to say, we're seeing now that the path of the firebombing is moving northward and westward as we speak, and by the minute by minute.
That's what it seems to be, too. I know I was just in West LA. There was some sporadic looting, but nothing much to talk about. Certainly not the kind of thing that we've been seeing in the rest of Los Angeles. But that's the worry, that it's going to move this way. It's going to move this way and basically toward Beverly Hills. We've talked to Lieutenant Frank Esposito a while ago. We heard that there was sporadic looting, sporadic problem. A man running around. And what's happened is they've strung hoses from across the street. They've strung hoses onto the roof of their building over here, and they're spraying water
Trying to show y'all.
every which direction they can.
Westward as we speak, and by the minute by westward as we speak.
This fire,
Found the culprit.
that little hose, and you saw the fire down the street. You can see that it's a pretty pathetic chance. Let's move over here if we can, but of course firefighters are tied up in other parts of the city, so they can't get here. What we had here was a
It was that
reverse
white
form
guy
of
in the
old
leather
bucket
jacket.
brigade. People were lining up and helping
He
other
looked
people
guilty than a
evacuate their
motherfucker.
furniture
He
and
said
all
the
their
fire.
belongings from this apartment complex. You can see a sofa being taken out
That's a lot
now.
of who was doing.
Everybody
Right.
in this neighborhood pitching
He
in
just
to
looked
try
out
to
of
help
place.
one
Like,
another.
what the hell?
Hoses strung all around the roof of this building. just people coming together and trying to help one another. We've got posters here. Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Yes, I was just going to say, we're seeing now that the path of the firebombing is moving.
When the smoke clears from all of the fires in town, when the unrest clears up, they'll be able to pursue this in the courts. I'm Frank Buckley, reporting live from Hollywood.
None of those looters were armed.
Matter in their own hands. What they're doing is arming themselves with rifles, protecting themselves, making sure that none of the looters come to their store.
I'm cool.
I'm told about 60 businesses are inside, all Korean owned, everything from clothing to electronics. They've been out here since last night. Some men up on the roof with rifles, some men down on the ground, more than a dozen men. Those men who do not have rifles have sticks. They've armed themselves, preparing for battle, as they say. They're afraid that the looters will come this way without caring about their own property, without caring that these men and women have worked very hard to get what they have at this point. They say they have no electricity, no power, so they're going to stay out here for the better part of the night and protect their businesses once again. I'm Tony Ginyard reporting live from Koreatown. Back to you.
Okay, Tony, thank you.
It wasn't playing, nigga.
In our
We're going to go in just a second.
Is this full sound?
I remember this nigga was mad. Mario, tear that shit up. Why you let's go my shit? I remember that.
What if I confuse? I'm trying to make it. Could you understand that? Take off it. I'm trying to make it.
I'm like, they put his ass on camera.
Right. This was early in the day. Police moved in, riders kept on coming and chased them out. This scene is where we saw a journalist, a French journalist who was here doing a story. He was mobbed by these guys, and we were passing by on the street. I saw this, and I just couldn't pass by. Went over to try to stop these guys from mauling this gentleman, and they took his camera equipment. I told him he was lucky to get away with his life, and he went with us. We put him in the truck and took him back to his vehicle. He was okay. We've seen scenes like this all over the city. Beach.
It is unbelievable now to see all of these plumes of smoke. And I'm just wondering if some of those aren't perhaps residential homes, because the fires that we're looking at right now, we might, should we go over and take a look there, and we'll hold off on the Roosevelt Hotel just for a moment.
Okay, the Roosevelt.
Just by sight.
The Roosevelt.
Sure.
We definitely see some gray smoke.
That shit popping.
We don't see the big black smoke. The fire we're looking at now is where Olympic, rather La Brea, turns as it passes Olympic, and that is not a private home, that is a commercial structure.
Right.
But maybe you can go over what the CHP
through the evening.
That some of these boys have been making around a gas station on Melrose and bringing them up into the area. And in fact, the police are here down. We'll find out what's going on there.
Side and looking at that go up. Remember, we've got apartment house on the other side of that.
all those forces there to fight the fire have come for miles to do it. You're in mid Los Angeles, are you not?
That's right. We're in the mid-Wilshire area of Los Angeles at La Brea and Orange. And they've come.
Enough fires to have an assessment on that.
I enjoy covering fires. I don't like to see fires, but I enjoy covering them. But this one,
Yeah, that shit look crazy as hell.
fire that I covered, which includes
All that.
the intensity of the flame, the heat. It's almost like a
That shit was like scary as hell, man. Everything was dark. Like everything was dark in the daytime.
Mark that big fire there.
zoom into that so that we can see just how close that is to those homes nearby. Well,
Michael, we're heading over to that area as we speak. We've been looking at a cluster of three separate fires near Olympic and La Brea that are all running out of control. As you can see, the fire department had just the scene when we pulled away. I think we're coming up on the scene now where Jody is. Although I'm not perfectly clear where her cross streets are.
Pico and La Brea.
We are Pico and La Brea, and we've got our camera aimed at this car that the police officers are telling to get out of the area, and he is doing a backup. Carl, let's go back to the fire. We've got some action.
A white worker was pulled from his truck and beaten, and as an originally non-violent demonstration at the downtown LAPD Parker Center turned ugly. And as African-American leaders gathered in a local church, many expressed their outrage.
Basically, what that verdict said to us was that a black life was in their
Blair Underwood.
We've been saying that for years. The whole world saw on the videotape, and then
he was beating on females in Tyler Perry movies now.
Mayor Tom Bradley urged the inflamed community to stay calm.
We have been
Right, Sandy? For real. For real.
As night fell, helicopters filled the smoky skies over south central Los Angeles, and the dial filled with scenes of blazing buildings, looters, and confrontation. Some observers of television's role in this case are media figures who also have an intense personal concern about LA's African-American community.
It was a difficult decision for the jurors because the spotlight was on them. And that's, you know, if it was no light on the situation, they would have made it like, boom, okay, no problem. But pressure came on because it was highly illuminated by media.
Los Angeles is a widespread metropolis, much of it separated from South Central LA by both geography and culture. But because of television, a small incident over a year ago has now reached every neighborhood and every home. Dennis Michael, CNN Entertainment News, Hollywood.
Now, before we close, here is an update on the situation in Los Angeles. The nighttime curfew is now in effect throughout the city, and police and 2,000 National Guard troops have taken up positions to enforce it in hopes to prevent a second night of violence. Unrest, arson, and looting continued throughout the day. Violent reaction to yesterday's not guilty verdict for 4 Los Angeles police officers. They were acquitted on assault charges in the beating of Rodney King. Dozens of fires are burning in South Central LA and other parts of the city, including Hollywood. The LA County coroner reports at least 17 riot-related deaths since yesterday. Police say there are at least 14. Nearly 450 people are injured and 300 have been arrested. Updating the situation now in Atlanta, where demonstrators turned in massive violence today. A curfew takes effect in just a few minutes from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Two guys with a shopping cart, another back of the box color TV. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 cars backed up. Here's a police officer in the parking lot with his gun drawn. On a car, he's got a car stopped. It's almost like he doesn't know what to do, though. He's got a gun out. He's got a gun. He's holding on a young black male. Now he's letting him go away. He's still holding his gun on a car. Here he has a choice here of dozens of looters, and for some reason stopped one in particular.
Right.
He put his gun back in. There's a police officer trying to lift a TV set that is out of the back of this guy's pickup after he sticks his gun back in his belt. Quite a scene. Here we have looters escaping from this Fedco lot. We can hear them yelling at each other to get out of the way so they can get out of here. I mean, all ages, really. Teen to middle age.
Now, here's an interesting sight. Here's the officer who was pulling a gun on a looter. The looter helping him lift the TV set out of the back of his pickup truck, telling him to get out of there. And right across from the Fedco, La Cienega, new concept furniture and electronics store. 4 or 5 minutes ago, people started breaking through the glass windows, breaking through the glass door. Now you can see people. Look at, you can see one guy rolling out a whole couch, just helping themselves. Look at right through there. It says factory direct sale. This is the biggest sale they've probably ever seen. Guys walking out with free stuff right through the front door, right through the broken windows. Here, 3 youths carrying away beanbag chairs. I mean, it's almost like people are looting anything they can get their hands on. Like, this is fun day. Running down the street with 4 beanbag chairs. There's a man.
Somewhere in this area. Standing on the side of the street told me this is just basically a crime to humanity. I'm Tony Ginyard reporting live from Hollywood. Back to you.
Certainly. And Western Avenue. Give you an idea. Talk about a feeding frenzy. This is probably a good idea of a looting frenzy.
Oh, yes. Well, this is from earlier today. It was like a shopping spree. What was the name of that television game show about shop till you drop, or one American shopping spree or something?
Right.
And that's almost what this was like, except obviously that's much more serious.
Larry, I'm just getting a report that from Long Beach, 2 men were riding a motorcycle. 2 men were riding 2 motorcycles, I think. They were attacked by a mob. They were beaten. One was shot and killed, and the other one is seriously injured, we understand.
Simply grabbing the things that they could get closest to them, running out of the store with all of that merchandise, not seeming to care whether there are television cameras there or not seeming to care what people thought of what they were doing. One of the clerks who was in the store, though, talked about how she felt.
They just ran smack in, killing.
They began grabbing things?
Grabbing, knocking things over, ran clear to the back, started ripping things apart, everything, everywhere. Oh, it's so sad.
And you decided to get out of the store at that point?
No, I did. Some guy hit me.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Hurt you?
Nah, knocked me down, but that's all right.
Yeah. At that point, you decided to leave the store?
No. Some of the guys came by and picked me up.
Incredible. Some of the people who knocked her down then picked her up and brought her out of the store. She was obviously in pretty good humor, though she was deeply saddened by what she was seeing. Down the block, more looting going on there, and the young man who was just standing by watching expressed it this way.
People, they doing this to get shot to the police. And well, what I see is people they don't care what they're doing. Now they don't care what they get.
Finally, the police began to arrive. In this case, they were chasing the looter. It was a pretty good jump in this case, and they didn't get him in that one. They did arrest just a little bit later in that same area. But as you can see, there's a very mixed reaction to what is going on here, and you feel very strongly about it.
Wrapped around the tire of the car and sent he and his passengers upside down. Kind of ride right now. We have called the paramedics to come out here, and they're still waiting. This is Randy. Randy was behind the wheel of the car. This is one of his passengers. Randy, what happened?
We were riding down the street, and we weren't speeding or anything. We were going 35 to 40 miles per hour, and that cable right there wrapped around the tire and flipped us over. We tried to stop when the cable wrapped around the tire, but it wouldn't allow us to stop, and it flipped the car all the way over.
What were you thinking at this point? Did you realize what was going on?
I was thinking we were going to die or something. It was, when you underneath the wheel of a car that's real smashed up and everything happens so suddenly, it's not really too much thinking you can do.
And I know there's some frustration on your part, especially when you saw paramedics, police officers passing by here.
Fire trucks, paramedics, they came, they circled, they went that way, they came back, they went that way. You guys flattened them down with the lights, you guys flattened them down by hand. Nobody turned around and came back and helped us.
Now, how are you doing? You're bleeding, your arms are cut. I'm okay. I know you're in shock right now. We're gonna get someone out here to help you just as soon as we can. Situations like this are going on all throughout this city, and everyone is saying this is in retaliation because of the Rodney King verdict. Well, folks, if this is retaliation for a verdict that people are not pleased with, you can't help but believe that people are destroying their own communities.
Son Figueroa and fed them back to Burbank to show you that the streets are pretty much empty, as everyone had asked for, at least in this immediate area. Nearby, the LAPD command post still quite busy. You can see officers on motorcycle, on foot, coming in and out of this area all night long. We spoke with a man, a veteran of the LAPD, who was here in 1965, here in 1992. What do you think the answer is? Just manpower? I don't think it's manpower. I think somebody's got to decide that it's got to stop. And the police are here to enforce it. Somebody else is going to have to make this decision quick. And it's going to have to beat that guy. Back live at the supermarket, as I said, the National Guard has a heavy presence here. I haven't had a chance to ask them why they need 9 National Guard units at one location. Again, the streets much quieter than they have been throughout the day. Perhaps people heeding the call to stay inside, but again, we're only able to tell you about what we can see in this somewhat limited area. Jess?
You have a mixed bag of frustration out there. You have people letting out all
on the camera, smiling
in the worst way.
Putting Band-Aids on
Right, I'll be, damn, that store is tore up.
Into Iraq.
Nigga.
Finish the job. We deal with the yellow ribbons. We had the
Nigga, people that work there like, man, what the fuck?
But yet the people are still suffering.
So the
I was in Ralston and cracked off. Everybody, the employees were just standing there, bro. Like,
been part of what
can't do nothing.
The root cause exactly of what has caused this simmering, this long-term simmering. And you're saying that if business people would give jobs to a lot of these youth, some of this problem might have been avoided?
If you would recognize and respect that leadership, and I'm going to give you a direct answer. You know how to stop this? You can set up a meeting with the shot callers in those communities.
Top in West Hollywood. Now, I understand we have footage of this incident just in as a cameraman calls a report into police. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you got an armed man he's on a roof, he's got a rifle, he's got shots fired, and he's aiming at someone right now. Oh, he's firing right now. It's at Melrose and La Brea South. East corner, he's on a roof. He's south of Lenjax, on the 2-story building south of Lenjax. He's firing right now. South of Lenjax, one building south of Lenjax. All right, you want to approach south on La Brea or east or west on Melrose. Do not approach north on La Brea. Do not approach north on La Brea. That's a blind spot. All right.
Well, there you have it, some very dramatic footage of a sniper. Apparently, they believe it was a store owner firing at possible looters at the corner of Melrose and La Brea in West Hollywood, just south of the Lenjax, and he was on top of a building. And we have one unconfirmed report at this point that they may hit one in the leg. We have not been able to verify that. We'll bring you information on that as soon as we get it. That's the latest. Very dramatic pictures. Back to you, Pat.
My money and bring it back to my neighborhood. But certainly this has to be a real disheartening sight to him.
You look at this scene here, Reverend, you see a lot of alleged looters being arrested. And these are the kinds of people that you've been confronting. What do they say to you when you go up to them and you say, put down that television set, put down that tire, whatever it is you've carried away? Do they just walk on past you? Do they actually engage you in conversation?
Most people have it under siege, not the police, but they're doing the job that they need to bring the city back to calmness. And we want to make sure people understand that.
Have you talked to anybody out
of the famous Rodeo Drive? And if you look over there, you'll notice something that in my travels today in Hollywood, South Central, Mid-Wilshire, every part of the city that I've been to that I haven't seen, those are intact windows that they haven't been touched. Doesn't look like looters have even attempted to come up here. One of the reasons may be that the Beverly Hills Police Department is taking a very aggressive stance with regard to looting and the curfew. They have told me that they will not tolerate any kind of looting or any kind of curfew violations. This in parts of the city where you see policemen having no choice but to stand by as the looters carry their goods along. It's a very different picture here. However, Beverly Hills hasn't been untouched. They tell me they've made 24 felony arrests tonight. Very unusual for Beverly Hills on an evening where if they have 5 arrests, they're very busy. Tonight, again, 24 felony arrests. Many of them, they say, are weapons violations. A lot of the people that they stop on simple traffic violations, they look inside the car and there's a gun. So Beverly Hills has not been untouched, but at least the city itself, Rodeo Drive, the famed
They have 5 arrests. They very busy.
as ever. I'm Frank Buckley reporting live from Beverly Hills. Jerry, back to you.
Okay, we would hope it stays that way for the evening. Morning, they got the jump on a lot of merchants. As you can see here, they grabbed anything and everything they could. A lot of the stores were not attended at the time. Men, women, small children got involved. They brought their families. What made it easier was that many of the businesses just didn't open up because they had a pretty good idea what was in store for them. If they did, they wanted no part of this. The looters simply drove their cars up, loaded them with whatever they wanted, sped off with hundreds of thousands of dollars in merchandise this morning.
Jerry, another incident of mass looting typical of all the scenes we've been seeing today came from Baldwin Hills. We're going to see a Fedco store. There it is at the corner of La Cienega and Rodeo. It was besieged by looters who, again, loaded their cars with whatever merchandise they could get. The Fedco is part of a very large shopping center, part of which was set on fire. An auto parts center was completely gutted. Again, looters just roamed free, grabbing anything that they could.
And another large shopping center literally burned to the ground in Hawthorne. We're looking at pictures of that. Looters carried out television sets, golf clubs, other expensive items as the shopping center was then set on fire. Many of these businesses have been totally devastated. Anybody's guess if and when they'll ever be rebuilt and what those who work there are going to do now that they're out of work.
Okay, for perspective on what's going on right now, David Jackson up in Sky 9. He is at this time over South Central LA. David?
Pretty bad shape that I saw just there a minute ago. That looks like that might have been someone who was deceased.
Might have been a casualty.
Yes, because he was laying not in the position, the supine position that they're usually ordered to lay in when they're being handcuffed. Apparently, they were in the white van and were pulled over by police, and obviously they're cuffing this one person here, and we're going to see what they're going to do to the other person who was laying over on this side, and who looked like they might have been.
Well, let's see. We'll find out pretty quickly here.
Okay, we're going to see. Nope.
He's moving.
He's moving. So he was not injured. He's being cuffed. I think he's being cuffed. Yes. They took the plastic cuffs off, and I guess they're going to put on the metal cuffs.
You know, one advantage of deploying Highway Patrol and National Guard, it is freeing LAPD for law enforcement throughout the city.
Sure, for police work.
For police work, which
Yes.
they were unable to do prior to the deployment of the National Guard. Approximately 1,000 National Guard troops have been deployed. Another 4,000 are ready to be deployed.
We don't have a reporter at the scene, which is why we do not know what the nature of whatever offense these men might be accused of having committed is. But obviously they've been taken into custody because, and there's several more.
There are several more suspects on the ground in the distance there.
We have no idea whether they're arsonists or whether they fired at police, but they were stopped in the white van by the police for some reason and were taken out, and they're obviously being taken into custody. So obviously they're suspects.
Okay, as soon as we find out with what they are charged, we will let you know.
We want to get out of this black and white, and a kid brazen enough to, all right, get out. Just get out. He's just getting. Kid brazen enough to just take off running with his bag of stuff.
DJ.
We're going down Sunset Boulevard, near Sunset and Argyle.
Where you at doing that LA ride, Barney?
Block. There's still people driving their cars.
Can't even see who the hell on the panel. I'm trying to see who's
Seen
talking.
several cars with young women in their 20s or 30s, well dressed. One in a Beamer, wondering what they're doing down here at 9 o'clock at night, center of Hollywood. Just feet away from stores a few hours ago where windows were smashed and looted. Coming down Wilcox, we see flares and a few fire engines flashing their lights.
How you doing, guys? We have about 25 engines from Santa Barbara County, Santa Barbara City, Montecito, area. And
just waiting for orders.
Well, we figure the LA troops are probably getting pretty tired by now, so we're here to spell them.
Your firemen have been on the clock for hours here, stopping to get something to eat, get a little rest. Thank you. Well, how long have you been out here?
Since 6 o'clock this morning, and it's just been all day long. That's a shame. I don't know what to say. I've never. I'm only have 3 years on the job, and to experience something like this, I'll probably never ever experience something like this in my career. And
Getting tired? You guys
very tired. It's the first meal I've had all
What are
day.
the guys talking about? Or is there even time to talk?
Well, not all day. There hasn't really been. I mean, we've just been going from one fire to another. One of our guys is now in the hospital. His whole body, head to toe, was completely cramped up. Just losing. There's so much heat. We wear not only our protective clothing on underneath, we're wearing protective clothing from possible shootings or stuff like that. So our heat and the sweating, we're just losing fluids and water out of our body, and we're just cramping up, and it's hard to keep it going.
Right.
Careful out there.
We will.
Oh, you're down the street from me, Bernie. I was on 120th and Vermont.
You would think that another looter might be at work with the couch on top of this car that's almost the size of the couch, and it's moving away from that area. And I'm wondering whether or not you were able to determine whether the people that own the furniture on that store are moving things out, or they're not, they've lost it. Whatever it was they had is gone.
I think you're right, Jerry.
There for somebody else.
Now there's the police. We've got a spotlight on a police cruiser. There's our big spotlight going after that looter. And you're correct, that was a looter. And he lost the couch that was on top.
Hooray for us.
By
our side.
Some good fortune, yes. He didn't manage to get away with that.
And one thing, a few minutes ago when we talked to you, David, you mentioned that you saw an apartment complex fully involved. That's another very different item from what we were seeing last night. Last night it seemed strictly commercial buildings. Now tonight we're hearing more and more about residences or apartment buildings involved in the firebombing.
That's true, Tony. There have been a few. There haven't been many, but there have been a few. The one we talked about down there on Western and Washington was a total loss. And I really have to say I haven't seen more than half a dozen or so, but last night you're quite correct, there weren't any.
Would you say the ones that you've seen tonight were in flames just because they were close to another building that had been set afire, or that these residences were specifically targeted for fire?
I might have said so in other cases. The one that we saw down the street here, I don't believe was that way. In fact, there were commercial buildings next door to that apartment complex that did not get burned. The apartment complex did get burned, and it seemed to me that somehow the fire was started inside that complex itself.
And Tony, that the rioting that started here in Los Angeles has now spread to Las Vegas. We had this wire service report that an angry mob roamed through that city's mainly black West Side Thursday night, looting, setting fires, and firing shots. One police officer was reportedly wounded by gunfire, and police have cordoned off that area, imposing a curfew just west of the downtown casino area, which is known as the Glitter Gulch. And earlier Thursday, a group of men attacked a bus driver. He was treated at a local hospital. And two other notes for you. Pasadena's Point Old Town District, 10-block area of fashionable stores and restaurants shut down at 5 p.m. Police reported mounting, looting, and a rash of small fires. 22 arrested. 300 used reportedly threw rocks and bottles at Pomona police as well. So those are giving you some idea of how we are seeing sporadic violence in areas outside the immediate Los Angeles area.
because this is the pictures this is the stuff that Dave shot this morning, and I think it's representative of a lot of the goings on early today when there was the, let's call it, carnival atmosphere, if you will. This was in South Central Los Angeles, people in and out of stores. One sign from a protester, but you'll hear a police officer's view of this in a while. Listen carefully.
Go in there and find your size, man.
Go there and find your
Go in
size.
there and find your size, and a lot of people were taking his advice. This is before the police moved in on the looting. This is when the police didn't really have a good handle on it because their job primarily was to handle it in the morning, escorting the fire.
We were badass kids.
Where they were coming under attack, and they decided anything like this, go right ahead. We're just not going to stop it. We don't have the manpower to do it. Not without perhaps an excessive use of force. We were about to hear a couple of representative comments from people here, pretty typical of the kinds of things that were said today.
I tried to educate myself and educate my
Yeah, look at the ABC market.
not have to live and go through this. And then I have to look at this and then watch these people teach their children to go into stores and take things and steal. I'm ashamed of my own people.
See, because this could have all been prevented if they just went on had the court where it was supposed to, the trial where it was supposed to be, try to take it way out there and in white folks' neighborhood. But see, this is expected.
That man, by the way, said he did not condone the riot, but here was his
He
explanation.
wished it wasn't in his neighborhood if it was going to happen.
He said he was searching all over for a pack of cigarettes and couldn't find a store that was open or that wasn't denuded of goods. Like
The old man was
And you
getting
see the
his.
police at this point are still standing by, letting this happen. You'll see them. Watch this here. This was on Vermont Avenue, just south of Slauson, and it was across the street from the Newberries that had been gutted. And Newberries was just like a big egg shell. It was cracked open and burned. Right past the police car. Good morning, everyone. And nothing was done. And that was the posture the police were assuming at this particular time. After a while, once they got in sufficient numbers, the police started herding people away. But even then they knew, once you push somebody away from an area, if you were called to deploy somewhere else, everybody would filter back in and the party would be back in full swing.
We saw that over and over.
Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's an officer talking about his observations here. This man you're going to see is a lifelong resident of Los Angeles, whose name I believe is Perry Griffin. He's coming up here.
The people aren't really, I haven't heard anything yell out anything about Rodney King as of this point. It's just people taking advantage of the situation right now. It's just opportunists.
Now, once we got into the afternoon, the posture of the police definitely changed. By now you had the highway patrol escorting the fire trucks. You had sheriff's deputies on the scene, so the police could go after some of the looters. And this was a very hairy and delicate situation on Martin Luther King Boulevard near Western Avenue, where at gunpoint the police confronted people who were suspected looters and had others down the alley and had a rather large crowd building on Martin Luther King just to the right of where the picture frame is right now.
But the crowd didn't attack the police.
They didn't. There was a lot of jeering, but the officers in this instance, one in particular, was very nervous. And, you get nervous people with guns drawn. It was nerve-wracking, and we were finally told to get out. And we took this bit of advice, definitely. Sheriff's deputies, I mentioned they were on the scene. This is right by the Coliseum. This is kind of right by where Murray's Tickets is. You know that on Martin Luther King, just a little bit to the west of Murray's Tickets, and now the sheriff's deputies are arresting people they were looting, suspected looting.
How did this fellow get all that blood on?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know whether he did it going for broken glass or whether he was hit by a baton. I just simply don't know. Finally, about 4 o'clock, the National Guard. This is again about the same location, Martin Luther King in Vermont. And people had said, where's the guard? And you know about the ammunition snafu. Linda Breakstone was telling you about that there wasn't sufficient ammunition brought down here to deploy the guard. Just listen in the background. That's the soundtrack for today.
Yep, it sure is.
We were watching 2 suspected looters being arrested when suddenly at least 3 shots were fired. I looked up to see a man in a van with a revolver firing in my direction. People were shouting, "Get down!" Cameraman Tony repeated as I jumped the 3-foot wall in the mini mall where we were. Believe me, I kept my head down. Right there! Right there! Several officers were there.
Nigga, is it worth all that to get the story, nigga?
Down the wall. A second officer, his shotgun cocked, moved toward the van, and a third officer, with his handgun ready, moved in as well. The occupants of the van were ordered to lie on the ground. The cops moved in carefully. They thought another suspect was inside the van. That turned out not to be true. The three men were finally handcuffed with police guns still at the ready. The suspects were put in a police car and later driven away.
Luckily, fires, and we will keep an eye on them over here. Green model.
What's the police presence there in that neighborhood?
There are police. There are police here. There is a command post set up at the Panorama Mall. There are police there. They're keeping an eye on the situation. Like the center of a spider web, they are going out to the different areas where they are needed. There are police here protecting the fire units that are putting out this fire in a dentist's office and in Smiley's Market. Smiley's Market is a neighborhood market. This is where all the people in this area come to do their shopping, and it is now gone.
All right, get some more information and check back with us, okay, Kim?
Live here, and you can see that there's one officer with his rifle pointed up at a roof, and I'm not sure what he sees. I don't really want to stick around the corner too much, but he's just securing the area. There are people on roofs here, some onlookers, some snipers, and they really are worried about some people taking pot shots. And of course, you've heard it in various parts of the city tonight with other reporters, and we've heard it on our beat tonight. People are taking pot shots at anything and everything. Joe, thanks for that.
2 television sets. Do they come back and get them? Yes.
Somebody else does.
Somebody else does with a VCR in one hand and picks up the TV with the other. Right now. Now, there's the gun. Laura was very close to that man when he did that and says that she's pretty sure that gun was pulled on she and the cameraman. And the only reason he ran is because there was a security officer nearby who also had a gun. If not, Laura's pretty convinced that they would have been the target of some gunfire from that young man.
That young man didn't apparently want his picture taken while he was stealing television sets, but the majority of people running in and out of this store didn't seem to notice or care.
Nor have they cared throughout all this. As a matter of fact, some of them take great delight in it. Now, if we turned off our cameras and went home, would this stop? Not likely.
Don't think so.
Yeah, he's having a good time.
This was tonight about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and there's no police presence now, but you will see later on in the tape that the police do arrive.
But Laura and Rick said that the police would show up at this building, as has been happening in so many other spots. They'd scare away the people who were looting. Then they'd be called to something else. A little time would go by, and the looters would be back.
Right.
She said that this store was just...
Well, here's a guy with a dolly, with a full dolly.
Yeah. I don't think he gets anything out of it because the police are about to show up here in about 15
No, but
seconds.
either he came prepared with that dolly or saw it somewhere.
They found it and used it.
What's that, fire extinguisher?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll come in good use. Now, why is he running? Because here come the cops. I don't know if we see more than one police car. I don't think we do.
This has been happening tonight in the Hollywood neighborhood. Not so many fires, a few fires, but a lot of looting going on, a lot of broken windows, a lot of stealing.
On Hollywood Boulevard, we heard from Alex Payne 2 or 3 times along Hollywood Boulevard, not far from here. Now, see, they're not in any real great hurry. I mean, it's the police. There's the police, and this is a pattern we've seen over and over the last 24. Well, it's more than 24 hours now. They're in no big hurry. Yeah, the cops are here, but we're going to back this thing out and take off. We got the stuff in the trunk, and that's going to be about it.
But for so long a time, there was nobody looting, being arrested too much. They just seemed to figure that they were going to let them take it, and as long as no lives were being threatened or property being
Yeah, let me
really
just talk over
destroyed.
that so you didn't hear it. Now, the officers, as they have so many times after the fact, will go up and basically secure the area, and even when they leave, the looters come back.
And that's the way this one ends, pretty much.
Yeah.
The police there restoring order for the moment. We asked Laura if she wanted to get back out among them, and she said that she didn't think so. She hadn't come that close to being shot before.
Laura was about as shook up as I've seen Laura be. Rick Romero, now here they are, guns drawn, apparently thinking there's somebody else in there. Rick Romero went back outside to cover another location.
But it's a different story. When you see people running in and taking things, that's one thing. But when they pull out a gun as they're leaving the building, that's a different picture.
To control this, but not to end it. They don't represent the people no more. What they represent doesn't really exist. Law and order are gone. Officer Annette Litzinger dove into a pile of glass to avoid gunfire.
We had a van shooting at the crowd, and as that occurred, we all dove for cover in the store. As you can see, there's a lot of broken glass and got cut up.
Los Angeles is on fire. Hundreds of businesses looted and set ablaze, and the ghouls don't even stop to watch what they've done. They unite to pry the iron bars from a liquor store, and they delight in their newfound freedom. LA is a free case of beer, a box of toilet paper on Rodney King. Those who come to pick through the ashes
was 25 years ago tomorrow that riots broke out in Los Angeles. The mostly African-American community of South LA erupted after a jury acquitted 4 white police officers in the videotaped beating of Rodney King, a black motorist who had been stopped for speeding. 6 days of violence left 55 people dead and 2,000 wounded. 11,000 were arrested. Maria Villarreal shows us how the community has healed a quarter century later.
This was the first sign 25 years ago that Los Angeles was in for a very long night.
These people are angry. They have every right to be.
Terrible. And there's no police presence down here. Police were accused of standing by and letting it happen. And while the city was on fire, KJLH Radio was in the middle of it.
This to you was a war zone.
You're seeing buildings being burned down, and you're seeing people running for their lives in the streets. Not everybody was looting. People were running for dear life. That's a war zone.
I'm hurt that the verdict was what it was, but this certainly isn't what you call a damn revolution.
For 4 days, DJs Andre Russell and Lon McHugh stopped playing music and let callers vent.
I heard, we can't take this anymore. This is not right.
They were furious, you know, and then it turned more into, don't burn our community.
Stop it, people! Stop it!
Karen Lane was 12 years old when the riots broke out. She's now a lawyer with Community Coalition.
What rose from the ashes of 1992 were really people-driven, community-driven solutions and calling for more accountability.
Murder rates have plummeted in South LA. LAPD recorded over 1,000 homicides in 1992, but in 2016 there were just under 300. Construction of a new NFL stadium and concert venue in Inglewood has brought jobs and increased real estate prices. Once a member of the infamous LA gang, the Crips, Akilisha Riots now owns a restaurant with celebrity chef Roy Choi called Local.
Hired 40 people, livable wage jobs, 80% of our staff walk to work. I've been knowing these people in here that works in the kitchen all my life.
25 years later, many people in South Los Angeles can see past the pain and view the riots as an uprising that ignited change. Parts of this neighborhood have changed, but some of the hardest hit pockets have stayed the same, like the vacant lots you see behind me burned in 1992. But there are construction crews on site right now renovating. People living here say it's a perfect example that not all is lost. Reinvestment just takes time.
Mireya, thank you.
What does the looting, the televisions, the shoes, whatever you're looting for, have to do with Rodney King? So why did you do it?
You have to understand what happened to why we did it.
Okay, yeah,
the reason we did it was because we needed self-satisfaction. We had no satisfaction in what happened to Rodney King. 425 years of being unsatisfied. What am I to do? What am I to do? I'm looking at the news and they telling me my life is not worth a nickel. They telling me that they could beat me. They can do whatever they want to me whenever they feel like it. And I'm supposed to accept this and say, well, we'll just go vote and make it better. It hasn't been better. We've been voting for years and it's not changing.
When after the stuff that you got, some of the things that you got, did you feel better after that?
Definitely. I felt better.
You felt better?
100% better.
did.
I can't even lie. I felt better.
That was 22 years ago already. And we wanted to know what happened to Larry. He's the young man who didn't hold back in that very heated audience. We tracked Larry down at his home in Long Beach, California.
Welcome to my home in Long Beach. This is my family. This is my wife, Yolanda. This is my son, Justin. My son, Jared. And Jarrell is right here. Well, we're headed to the Florence and Normandy. That's where it started. It's been 20 years since the Oprah show, and I'm feeling pretty good about my life up to now. Looking back on it now, I could have been better, but at the time I was, young, and that's what I did. After appearing on the Oprah show, it was different for me. I didn't know the repercussions of that. I thought I was gonna go back to my job. So they was like, no, you can't come back here. So that was different to get fired. I mean, had I known what I know now, I would have kept my mouth shut. This stuff is brand new because all this was, hold up. This stuff, they're just rebuilding this from that long ago. From that long ago. 22 years ago, I had a different opinion. But as of today, I can tell you that looting and violence is wrong. We're on the corner of Florence and Normandy. This is actually where the 92 riots began. It's the corner where they just went nuts after the verdict. And from here, they went on to destroy a whole lot of things in this city. Oprah coming down to Los Angeles 22 years ago made it different because she brought us all in there to talk. And a lot of people kept talking after that. If you're doing that running around blowing up stuff, what are you doing? You're shooting yourself in the foot. We need to organize. We need to get these people and channel that rage the right way. There should be as many people out there looting, should be in line voting on every election. We have to empower ourselves from the inside out. We cannot sit up there and ask for somebody to help us.
Own Selma 50 Month begins Thursday, January 1st with a special edition of Where Are They Now? At just 6 years old, a powerful symbol for the civil rights movement, Oprah and Ruby Bridges. Then, O.J. Simpson prosecutor Christopher Darden.
I was devastated and decimated by the trial.
If you don't have a lot of time to shop for a gift for that special person in your life, we can help. Today, gift guru Sandra Magsalmon will show us a few creative gifts.
Hell, like that nigga, that comedian dude. But anyway, man, that was just a little something about the riots. Thanks for tuning in, man, to the 100 Talk. Man, we're gonna keep it 100, man. For the one time, for the two time. I fuck with y'all though. All right, rest in peace, King. Keep it 100 with yourself. Keep it 100 on your daily walk. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it consistent, do y'all thing, keep it always 100.